I hope you guys are ready for just another generic PC build today, because as you can see, I have lots of parts and we're going to cram them into this case and see what happens. I wish this box was a little bit cooler, but this is just a really cheap case, because I figured, why would I blow all the extra money on a sweet case when I can buy a sweet GPU instead? And even that, is obviously not the best one I can get, but it's within my budget, and that's what matters. And all in all, you can get a pretty sweet case for pretty cheap. It does make me wish for back in the day when they had the thermal take ones with, what was it, like 12 hard drive bays. I wish I could get something like that, because for some reason I feel the need to just have 12 hard drives in my computer for whatever reason. All in all, this is a pretty good case though. I think it'll do good. It got 3 fans in there. We got USB-C, USB 3, USB 2, audio jack. I think this one has 3 drive bays, but I am not positive about that. So 3 drive bays should be enough. And realistically, with the SD slots, or not the SD, the NVMe slots on the motherboard, we should be probably pretty good as far as storage capacity goes for this thing. So earlier I said this case had 3 fans. It actually has 4 fans in it. And as you can see, I pulled the back off a little bit so we can easily fit this power supply unit in there. PCU for the non-tech savvy guys out there. This is a fully modular one as well. And as you can see, it comes with this nice little case with all the cords in it, which is pretty neat. A nice little touch. I think this one wasn't too expensive either, so that's another added bonus to that. I am a little bit worried about the profile size of this, because I didn't really think about it when I got it, but most cases and power supplies are kind of geared to the same form factor already. Oh yeah, see that? She fits perfect, snug in there. So my concerns were invalid. Obviously that's upside down, but yeah. So I'll get this screwed in there and we'll move on to the next step. So I know that I said that it was upside down, but apparently there isn't a way to correctly orient it in a way that you can see the logo pointing directly up as it should, which is kind of a bummer, but I think that it's just how it was designed. It probably wasn't designed to be on the bottom or something like that. I'm not really sure. But yeah. Which, bummer. Oh well. As I continue through this, I realized that the reason that one was oriented like that, the power supply unit, is that it's supposed to be able to visually be seen through the front right here in the upright orientation, which kind of doesn't matter for me, because I have a grill there. You can't really see it super well anyway, but I think that is actually probably the reason that is there. Our next step will be to put in the motherboard, get her screwed down, pop off the CPU slot, and go from there. Something about building things like this is you will definitely have things just disappear into the aether. Like they will cease to exist when you need them most. I don't know what that is, but I swear every time I'm doing like projects like this, I will have like a screwdriver just vanish, only to show up days later when I don't need it. And yeah, I'm not a fan of that. let me tell you. I don't know why that happens or whatever else, but it does. Right now all I'm doing is like tightening these 6 screws down to keep the motherboard in place. And yeah, let me tell you, this has a aluminum kind of like cover for the backside for all the USB slots and everything else, HDMI and yada yada yada. And that thing is not intuitive. I don't know, it has all these like tabs on it, which I feel like some of the tabs work and some of the tabs don't, which is weird because it's specifically designed for the motherboard. Maybe I'm just kind of stupid or something. So that sucks. I think I just did it wrong probably. But one cool thing is, I don't know if it's, I'm pretty sure it's the case here. It's got magnets in it, so these screws just like slap right into place. I don't have to like worry about them going right or anything like that. All I gotta do is make sure I don't screw them down too tight, you know. It's pretty handy and makes the ease of this way better. Back in the day, you would be trying to find the hole and make sure you didn't cross thread the hole and everything else like that. These ones, they go right in, and it seems like they went in exactly at the right angle every time. That's just good engineering or something. I don't know what that is. Giving it one little last tighten down here. Make sure they all go in snug as a bug. So I'm just going to slide in the NVMe drive next because I'm like apprehensive about putting the CPU in there without everything else in there. Just want that to be the last and final process, you know. These things are really cute these days. They're so tiny. It blows my mind how small they are actually. God, I remember having big honking drives like this and everything else. I don't know if you all have noticed, I also put gloves on just because, you know, I can never be too careful with nice new machinery that's actually yours, and you gotta prepare yourself not to break it. I don't know what this is, just like an instruction manual for the drive, I'm assuming. I don't know why I even have that in there, but that's cool. Admittedly, there is some level of understanding that you kind of just know what you're doing when you're building computers and stuff like that, I think. And nothing is labeled well. That's why they'll like just build them at the store for you these days. I will say that I spent a god-awful amount of time just now simply finding a screw that I needed, the correct screw. And I'm ashamed to admit that because I just looked at that thing and looked at it and I'm like, oh, I know this is the right screw, but God forbid that I'm wrong somehow and put the wrong screw here. But needless to say, I was right the whole time. But you should probably check a couple times. If you're not 100% sure, don't just force something in there because you're going to have a bad day if you do. I can guarantee that. Now comes like one of the scariest parts for me is just installing the CPU. I'm just always terrified. I'm like, if not many things in life scare me. I'll say that. But for some reason doing stuff like this, always a nightmare. I'm always like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then I have to like look at it 100 times and be like, oh, did I put that in there right? Is it upside down? Did I do that right? You know? I can't help but do that. I swear I will break something or something else if I'm not 100% sure that I did everything correctly. I will get nervous. I get nervous about stuff. Like right now, I'm a little nervous right now. I don't want to mess anything up. I'll be 100% honest. I did not anticipate the level of stress this might induce. I am typically a pretty calm and collected guy, but this being the first one I've built and the price that it costs, the need to not screw up becomes apparent very quickly, I think. So I'm over here just double checking everything 100 times to guarantee that I just don't break something. I don't know what's going on with that. But it's probably better to be a little stressed versus not stressed at all. Because, you know, you're less likely to seriously screw something up, I imagine. If you have, like, just the smallest modicum of nerves involved in it. And let's be real, this is kind of a high-ticket item, so to be a little nervous is probably expected, especially when you're honestly broke as a joke. I have, like, this, I don't know how to call it, fiscal irresponsibility problem. Like nobody else. So, I think that's might be where it comes from. Right now I'm just getting this ready to put the CPU cooler on and everything else like that, and then we'll like go back to installing more parts. Because this bad boy is going to need to stay cool. So, these brackets I feel like are not perfectly lined up, which, God, because I'm such a perfectionist, just irks the crap out of me. And now I get to do moment of truth time and thermal paste this thing. Do one preliminary wipe on this with my t-shirt. Would not recommend, but I'm at a loss for another cloth right now. Do not do that. Do not do that at all. Never do that. Nice, clean, new cloth is probably your best bet. And they say to put like a pea-sized amount of this on there, pretty center. I am like gonna do my best here. They have some CPUs now that have pre-administered ones. I want to say that's a little bit more than a pea-sized amount. I can't be for sure. It depends on what pea you're looking at, really, doesn't it? I only get to put this bad boy radiator in there. Try and set it as close as possible on there to center. This might take a while, honestly. This radiator is way bigger than I expected it to be. I almost want to say it's too much. It's supposed to be a really good one. It is not liquid cooled, but with the size like this, I would hope the CPU stays cool. When you don't build computers for 10 years, let me tell you, the amount of things that change are pretty astounding. I'm really shocked, honestly, by a lot of these parts. And like in a good way, not a bad way. It's just not something I'm used to. Well, as you can see, I have a bit of a cordy mess here. I was like struggling for a while because I don't have a 4-pin connector for the CPU. And I guess that's not really necessary because it's only for overclocking and stuff like that. And I just can not worry about that for right now, I guess. Just get this done and start it up. I will say that it was a little bit of a nightmare to get it to this point. because I was sitting there just, staring at it like, what do I do about this 4-pin connector? And yikes, dude, yikes, let me tell you. I was super bummed out that I don't have that. And at this point, I'm just trying to embed this big bad boy hard drive in here. It is 8 terabytes because I do video editing, obviously, and stuff like that. Mostly video editing and then Blender things, which I have to unscrew up from the bottom here, but I am, again, missing a screwdriver. So, I will get back to you on this. I think realistically, one of the easiest parts of this build, for me personally, is just putting this RAM in. It's at least something I've done 100 sometimes, okay? Like, this I can handle all day. People have been telling me that I really need to do the CompTIA stuff, and I wouldn't say they're exactly wrong in the respect that like sometimes don't always know exactly what I'm doing, but you don't really have to know exactly what you're doing because they have manuals and stuff for stuff like this. As long as you read the manual, you should be fine. Oh, and YouTube exists. I go to YouTube University all the time. It's way better than actual university. I said this was going to be the easiest part, but kind of working my way around this fin here is not easy, so I take that somewhat back. Let me just not put it in that slot. Put it in one of the other slots first. I do have the correct orientation here, it looks like, so that's positive. Okay, cool, it snapped in. Let's put it back in the other one. Yeah, I swear, man. Nothing about this has been the easiest, but I guess that comes from like not having done this before with such a robust setup. I don't think it's snapped into place quite like it should be. I'll have to try it again here in a second. Yeah, you had to press these really hard, and I just, like I said, I'm afraid to break stuff. So I got them in there. I had to press way harder than I expected to, which is eek. Finally, we got the piece de resistance to this whole project. It's a 5060 Ti, which is 16 gigabytes. Exactly what I need, really, to be doing anything with AI that I would like to be doing. So, yeah, it was a must-have. I thought about getting, like, smaller ones and different brands and everything else like that, but you kind of really need CUDA cores to go about doing anything. So, it kind of became a necessity that I get one of these. I could have gotten a slightly cheaper one, but I figured for like the performance gains that I get from this one, it would be worth it, but not worth it to purchase the next model up because it's only like 30% better. And then when you factor price, 30% versus double the price, not really worth it. So I stuck with this one. I figured this would be my best bet, so. So finally, as you can see, we are done. This took me a little bit longer than I care to admit, but not so long that I'm like super ashamed of myself. A lot of these connectors aren't exactly, they're designed for it obviously, but they're like the weird connectors where you got like 2 stray ones here, so you got a 6 and a 2 pin for an 8-pin slot. And I just have this subconscious fear that I'm going to do something wrong and light something on fire, which is the right fear to have with this. So I wanted to make sure I did everything exactly the way you're supposed to, and I think we're golden. I'm about to boot this thing up, see if I can get BIOS without it catching on fire. So stay tuned. Okay, here comes the scary part. Okay. So far, so good. Oh man, dude, I'm spooked. I'm a little bit spooked right now. Oh no. She's on. I don't know what's going on with the screen though. Let's find out. See if this thing's actually plugged in all the way. Uh-oh. We got contact in there. She turned on and shut right back off, so that's not a good sign to start with, I don't think, here. Oh! Alright. What do we got here? A new CPU has been installed. Before making adjustments in the BIOS, please press F5 to load factory default settings to ensure smooth operations. No keyboard detected. Alright, so I'm going to plug a keyboard in, and we'll be back. And we're back. So, F1. CPU fan is running. Intel Rapid Storage sectionality on. Disabled. Boot priority. It's looking good. It's looking good. We have the Core i9. Got the memory. Memory. SATA. 8 terabytes NVMe. M.2 slot. Got that terabyte there. CPU fan running at 100% because she's a Frankenstein in there. It looks good. I don't think it's super loud either. I'm pretty impressed. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have an OS to put on this. I probably will just put some Linux distro on it at a later date. As of right now, I don't have one to put on it. I just mostly wanted to build it and see what was up. Okay. She should shut off now. I think. Maybe not. Turn off, you. Well, yeah, there we go, guys. It looks like I built it successfully. I had a little couple hiccups here or there with exact power connector issues, whatever else. I definitely probably should get my CompTIA Plus or whatever, but I don't think that would have stopped me from having these hiccups in this at all. Mostly because everything is going to be a little bit different as far as like exact connections and where they go. This one has a 4-pin for the power up top there for overclocking, and obviously the power button stuff is all going to be slightly different sometimes. And yeah. Oh yeah, in the GPU itself is an 8-pin connection, but I had a 6 and a 2 that I had to make sure I did right. Honestly, there's a couple things like that in here. I did struggle to put the fans on the CPU too, admittedly. And I tried 6 different ways before I Googled it, and I was like, oh my god. Because that was kind of a nightmare. It's not super intuitive. You can literally put them on like the clips on so many different ways, and they won't be right. They won't be right. They'll look right at first until you go to put it on. But I figured it out. So, pretty proud of myself. I don't think you really need the A plus to do this. I knew what most of these connections were from previous experience, like the 24 pin. Even in like 2010, they had 24 pins. It was just like relatively new. Back in the day, man, there were so many different plugs. All the plugs were kind of different than this. I haven't built a computer since I probably was 12 years old or something, 12 or 13 years old. They had big chunky boy connectors back then, and it was clear exactly where they went. Let me tell you, definitely knew where they went because it was easy. And then you had like lots of serial SATA connections, I guess, too back then. I want to say that even USB at a time could use SATA connections, which is kind of weird to say. It's kind of how like all these fans plug in through a SATA connection. But I'm pretty sure even back then, like there was a way you could plug USBs in via the same way, or maybe it was no, it was DVD drives and stuff like that had SATA connections. My bad. But yeah, it was a fun, good experience. Glad I have it done. That's all I can say.